Right, welcome to Grumpa's workshop. Another Sunday waffle, Sunday the 22nd of July I think it is. I'm Loz as always in the workshop and you're welcome. Right, where are we up to? I'm in a complete mess. Those of you new to the channel might not know, my wife passed away at the start of June, so I'm still getting to terms with that and living alone. So far, the other shoe hasn't dropped, but anyway, that'll come on. What am I up to? I've started going through the house actually, tidying up, moving stuff around, getting rid of all stuff. I've not parted with any special effects that are close to my heart, but otherwise I'm sort of moving the house around slowly to a bachelor pad. The biggest thing I'm going to be changing is the second bedroom, the back bedroom, or our morning room as we've called it for the past 2 years, where we used to spend the mornings after we got up. It's got Sue's mum's chair in the corner, but she used to sit there and heckle me as I was working on my computer with the videos. The piano, which you can see, I think that's going to be number one son, and I'm going to do a home office stroke studio makeover and give myself a much bigger L-shaped desk with space to do some painting and some photography printing. When I have a look at my photography gear, now I've got time to get out and about. So that's good, that's going to be changing. I might show a bit of that, but it's not going to be a photography channel. Reminder, if you've not seen my last video, there's a not 1000k subs giveaway. I've boxed all it up. Those of you who might be interested, go and check the video. It shows you what went into that. A lot of hand tool measuring, marking out and cutting the dovetails, small pieces, but it built up over a 12-month period. So I thought I may as well do it now rather than later, because I'm so grateful for the love and support you've all been showing me over the past couple of weeks. So that's great. So look at that. Basically, in the show notes below, there'll be an email, grumpars.workshop.uk@gmail.com. So if you cut and paste the little phrase that confirms you're over 18, you're a UK resident, and you understand that I'm tight and there's no cash alternatives, my decision's final. I'll do it's on another week. There's not a lot of people who've put in for it, so you've got a really good chance of getting the package. So cut and paste that little phrase, post it to the email address. Midnight this coming Saturday, I'll close it, print off all the notes, cut them up into the strips, and I'll do a pulling out of the hat on my next Sunday's waffle. So there we are. Right, so forgive the mess. Where am I up to regarding the table saw? I started out at the start of the year. I decided I was going back to a Frankenbench arrangement with a table saw and router table built in. And with permission, I invested in the Incra ES-LS system. What I hadn't counted on, and here's a point that you should do your research first as to how that attaches to the table saws. The rail system goes front and back, so the fence is guided and held in two places, front and back, on the rails. These are the 6-foot rails. You can get 90-inch rails, I think, as well. They're held on with brackets like these, held to the table through there. So they go on the table and screw in to the front and back faces of the cast iron tabletop. Unfortunately, I've got that rather sexy, curvy Axminster table saw with the curved cast iron front, and that fouls at the top of the cast iron front, if you can just see it, fouls this at the level it's supposed to be. The top of that bracket, pardon me, should be 1/4 of an inch below the top of the table. Now at the back I can manage that, and I don't know if it is, the back of the Axminster table already has 2 holes drilled to take 8mm bolts to hold on a rear extension plate, which isn't in the garage at the moment. So I can put the back rail on using the existing holes through there. Now, that doesn't work at the front, as I say, because it fouls the top of this curvy plate, and I'm loath to angle grind out a notch to get rid of the top of that, which would spoil its pretty looks. So what do? I decided I would try to add an extension bracket here using the aluminium, what do you call them? You know what they're called. It's that section. It comes in various sizes. That's 40mm by 40mm, which allows me to hold that in place using these slotted T-nuts, T-bolts. So that goes in there and screws into holes in the front. Now, which meant I had to drill the cast iron, at which point I got cold feet, and this is why I'm looking at it again in July instead of February of this year. I decided I would get some self-tapping drill bits and drill it in, marking out 20mm down from the top. I might show an insert, 20mm down from the top, and say put 3 holes in. Unfortunately, when it came to the drilling them, though I took my time and I used WD-40 as some lubricant, the problem is when you're drilling self-tapping holes, and I've lost the, and I've dropped that. Never mind. I got a set of self-tapping, of tapping drill bits. So it's a drill bit in the first half and then a tapper on the back end. I might show you a picture. Unfortunately, that didn't work very well. It wasn't powerful enough. So I used my mains powered drill, and I was able, on this particular one, to do it nice and slowly. But here's the problem. The wise metal workers of you are already ahead of me. When I drilled it in, it was okay drilling it in, but what don't these old drills have? They don't have a reverse, so I couldn't reverse it out, so I had to reverse it out by hand. I managed to get 2 drills done very nicely, but when I came to the third at this end, my cheap tapping drill bit snapped off. I'll show you a picture. And it snapped off. The air was blue. So, what to do? I've drilled another hole next to it, and luckily the little shard that sticks out actually doesn't interfere with the placing of this firmly against the edge of the table. So that's where I'm at. So I've got to put this on, and then using some longer T-nuts, because I got 16mm thinking that would be long enough, and it's not long enough because I can't use a tapped hole on this, because otherwise I can't guarantee that will be still vertical when I've screwed it in and tight against to bring the strut tight against the cast iron face. So I had to order some 25 mil. And then I've got to take the front face off so I can get behind with a spanner and just tighten it up. When I have the energy, I'm going to show that process, and then I'll have a LS stroke Axminster cabinet saw Frankenbench. I'll still have to get an extra router tabletop and insert, which will go on the left hand side, so I'll be able to have this up the middle of the garage with a walk round on the end to use the router table, very much the way I've been using this router table, and then I'll get some timber infill on the right. Is that right? Good. Everywhere else is a mess because I've got several other projects. As usual, I start more projects than I actually progress. So on to the next bit. Right, so I did manage finally to mow the back lawns because it was threatening to come in the house. I've still got a lot to do around the back. The top half's okay, but the bottom half with the raised beds, both those three and these two on the left, you can see are well overgrown, and it's just getting to the stage where it's too much. So watch this space. What I have started doing is finishing off the border edging, replacing 2x6s with 4x4 fence posts treated. And I've started, and you can see I've managed to do some lock joints by hand. I'll go on more about that later. That's enough for now. Things are going on. I'll be spending more time in here, but I suppose understandably, even though I'm not down as such, I have no energy. So I'll be working in short bursts in here to finish off the makeover, getting rid of a load of tap tools and having fewer but better. Essentialism, I think, is the current jargon on Tinternet and the YouTubers, making a, what's the phrase I've used in the past? Making a virtue out of a necessity, this minimalism stuff, but I need space in the workshop. So that's it going forward. I'm hoping to do at least a weekly video from now on. And as always, thanks for all your support. I don't want the channel to progress to the point that I can't answer everybody's comments. Please comment, tell me how you're doing in your workshops, sheddies, and I'll work through everybody's comments that they've made. It's taken me a while. I will answer everybody. That's gratefully received. So there we are. 72% humidity. This rain is a complete buggerance, isn't it? Anyway, that's me being grumpy again. You enjoy yourselves in the workshop, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time. And I really must get round to getting that the right way up. Next on my list.